Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to do some planting. It's a little cooler than it has been today, and I want to take full advantage of it. We've got two varieties of large shrub and then one small tree to put in the ground. I've got the gator loaded up. Look at those blooms right there. Oh, but I went ahead because these are quite large and pulled one of each type down onto the ground so we could take a better look. So we've got 5 of these gorgeous Gatsby pink hydrangeas. They're a type of Oakleaf hydrangea. So not only do they have beautiful blooms, look at their leaf shape. And these leaves turn the most brilliant burgundy red in the fall. They are so gorgeous. When the blooms first open, they're beautiful bright white, and then they quickly age to a pink. Just a beautiful, delicate pink. Oh, and they get large, like 8 by 8. So putting 5 of them in here around this blue spruce, I think it's gonna be gorgeous. They are a zone 5 through 9 and bloom on old wood. I'm not sure if I've already said that, but that means that you really don't want to do a lot of pruning on them at all. So you want to put them somewhere where they can just grow to their full size. You can clean up spent blooms if you want to do that, but they produce buds for blooms on previous year's growth. So like right now they're producing the buds or creating the buds for next year's blooms. So if you go in and cut them too deep or put them somewhere where they sustain a lot of winter damage, you might not get blooms the next year. So you just kind of want to be careful about that. They typically, and like all other hydrangeas, want to be planted in a fairly sunny location to be the most productive, like full to part sun. However, I think here in our area, and I think it's different for every area, they do tend to like a little bit of protection in the afternoon. I've got Oakleaf hydrangeas near where we're going to be planting these, which kind of got their life rocked a little bit last year. You know, we had the blue spruce fall down, and then they were all of a sudden exposed to a whole lot more weather and extremes and a whole lot more wind. And they're starting to rebound now. In fact, I came out here right before I was going to start this project to look at them because I thought, oh, I can show you guys how awesome they look. They're all wilted. I think that this drip zone didn't go off in this area this morning. We've been having some issues with that lately. Of course, it's when it's hot. So just imagine this oak leaf is not wilted. I just watered it. My goodness, it's always when I want to show something when it's kind of looking a little sad. But this was so chlorotic and so puny, and it had so many broken branches earlier on. I am just so thrilled. Even though it's wilted now, it'll pick back up in about an hour. But I'm so happy and thrilled with how it's grown and filled in. And this one actually has some blooms on it. There's one right over there that I thought was dead, and it's sprung back to life. So I feel like kind of carrying on and kind of ringing some around in this area so that they can be a taller variety of plant above this Russian sage and kind of, oh my goodness, the honeybees. I just noticed. Oh. Anyway, so a nice tall layer above the boxwoods here will be a really pretty view from the other side. Yeah, so as we look this way, we are in the afternoon at this point, so you can kind of see filtered light in here, but I think they're gonna actually do better on this side of the spruce than they will on that side. They won't take as much water, I don't think. Okay, so that's shrub number 1. Shrub number 2, I've got 3 gorgeous Snowball Bush viburnums. Look at the size of this plant. I was down at the garden center the other day, and I had to double take. I'm like, is that a snowball bush? Because if it is, I've got to have them. Oh my goodness. I figured they probably wouldn't have any left at this time of year. They bloom in the spring, and usually when they're in bloom is when they all sell out. So I was so happy to find these, and look at the leaf shape on these. Another gorgeous one. Also super beautiful fall color on this, beautiful red. But these grow 10 to 12 feet tall and wide. I mean, that's the size of the small tree we're going to be putting in today. So we are going to put these out in the south garden. We've got 3 of them, and I want to put them close together because I want it to be just this spectacular show. It's like late spring through part of the summer is when they're in bloom. They bloom for several weeks, and I feel like they're worth it. Even though they're not in bloom for longer in the season, they provide such an amazing show at one point of the year. And then they have a beautiful shape, a beautiful leaf structure, and fall color. So they really are giving you 3 seasons worth of interest. And they are a zone 3 through 8, which makes them incredibly great for cold environments, cold climates. And the snowball blooms are wonderful to use in arrangements. And then right in front of our super classy mosquito killer, which actually works really, really well. The brand is Flotron. Aaron ordered it on Amazon, and you can just, at night, it's just a constant. It just like zap, 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 zap. It's kind of funny. Aaron and I'll sit out here on chairs and just watch the mosquito killer. Does that make us old? Anyway, we've got a crabapple, kind of hard to distinguish in here. There's a lot going on. But I've got one of these behind the chicken coop and I love it so much that I had to get one more. It grows 8 feet tall and 12 feet wide. So it takes on a very, I wonder if there's a picture. Yeah, like it has a wider than tall appearance and I love that. This is definitely like a understory type tree. Like, I mean, it can take the full sun and such, but it's not a great big specimen. So you can use it kind of like a large shrub, but one that you can plant under, which I love. So in the spring, it just gets absolutely loaded with white blooms. I have pictures of ours behind the coop and what that one looks like. Just phenomenal. Oh, they're fragrant, they're beautiful. The bees love them, and then you can see they're followed by these little clusters of berries which turn brilliant, bright, shiny red in the fall. The birds love them. They never create a mess that I've ever noticed. And really on a tree that small, you probably wouldn't notice any sort of mess, and they're little. They're not great big berries. And fall color is yellow, so you see those bright yellow leaves with the bright red berries. And this one is a zone 4 through 8. Another thing that I really like about this one is its leaf shape, because when the leaves very first come out, let me show you close up. So you'll see some of the younger leaves especially looking a little bit more normal shaped, I guess. That's a normal leaf shape. But then we get some really beautiful lobed leaves on here. Just really pretty, almost kind of like this. Like today is about leaf texture. Look at that. You're so pretty. And I think that's all the details on these plants. I thought it might be fun to do that first today. We'll go through and take a look when we're all done at where everything ended up, but usually I'm so hot and dirty by the end, I can almost not remember all the details. So what we should do now is get them planted. I've got my auger, which should work great for the Oakleaf, Hydrangeas, and the Snowball Bush viburnum. I'll have to do 3 holes in the same location to plant the crabapple, but that's usually pretty quick. And then I've got my biotone starter fertilizer. So let's get this started, get them planted, and then we'll do a little tour. right, guys, they're all planted. We have a light breeze now, so it's actually very pleasant in the shade. And the oak leaves look amazing right here. I actually started this project a little bit earlier than I thought. So it's about 3 o'clock now, about 3:15. So you can see by now they're protected by the ash tree right above them. So that's perfect. Perfect if they can get some morning and midday light and then protection through the rest of the day. A little bit of filtered light kind of coming through on them. But oh, these are going to be gorgeous. Now they grow, I think I mentioned, up to 8 feet tall and wide, 6 to 8 feet tall and wide. So I went with the closer spacing at 6 feet so that in the end they would kind of create a hedge and maybe cover the bottom of the blue spruce a little bit where it's thinner. You like them here? Yeah, I did not even know you were behind me. Really? Kind of scared me. Yeah. I think they're going to be really pretty. Also, you guys, let me show you. So look at now. Almost completely recovered from whatever went on with the drip system. Couple of wilted leaves yet, but that looks a lot better than it did before. I did leave the hose strung out because I'm going to come along this evening and water them again. Both the hydrangeas and the snowball bush by Burnham's, they were a beast to keep wet in their containers. They were the ones that we had to come along twice a day and water. So when I dug the hole and introduced the root ball to the hole, I then filled the hole up with water so that the root ball could really soak in some extra moisture before I tucked them in with soil. Then I re-watered overhead to make sure the soil had all settled. But I'll come along this evening just to make sure that everything is happy and everything is moist. And I think like on the outskirts here where the Russian sage is, and then you can see there's some on that side, I think both of those sides get enough sun. I don't think that this area, this spot right here gets enough sun to keep the Russian sage happy, but wouldn't that look beautiful to have it all around these oak leaves and kind of have the oak leaves coming out of that, the beautiful purple blooms. I think that'd be pretty. Oh, love it. Can't wait to see what these do. Okay, snowball bushes are over here. Okay, I wanted to show you from this angle. So I'm standing inside the loop here and you can see snowball bush here, here, and here. I think our neighbor's cutting something down. You hear the chainsaw? All right, we're just gonna go with the noise. Sorry about that, you guys. But these grow, like I said, 10 to 12 feet wide, and they're planted roughly 12 feet apart from one another. So they're kind of in a formation, like a pattern, except there are things between them. There is a gin fizz juniper there, a Serbian blue sky, Serbian spruce right there. But I think these are gonna be gorgeous. They'll just be a mass, like a huge, round, dense shrub with beautiful fall color, beautiful spring blooms, times 3. Love it. And the tree is right over here. You know, on the way, I do want to point out these totem pole panicums. Aren't those awesome? I want to get my hands on like 7 of them and plant them all together because they only grow like 2 feet wide, but you know, 6, I can't remember, 6, 7 feet tall. Wouldn't that be awesome to have 7 of them all together and have a huge clump of tall grass? All right, there it is. I needed something tall in this space. And what I want to do, we've got the Corinthian linden here, has a 15-foot spread. We have a Spring Grove arborvitae, which actually has quite a wide spread. Can't remember exactly, but it's quite wide. And so this one's got a 12-foot spread. I'd like to put something blue and maybe lower right in here. I think that would be nice. Maybe some totem pole panicums in there would look good. Actually, that would look really good. A big old group of them. But I think this is a perfect spot for this tree. So 8 feet tall, 12-foot spread. It's kind of one like the snowball bushes. Like it's quite large, but it's not enormous. So this is a really fun crabapple tree if you've got a smaller space that you want to tuck one in. This is a good one to try. And we've got lots of opportunity right in front of it. We've got a whole bunch of perennials freshly planted, so they're, you know, won't look the best this year. We've just planted butterfly bushes here. We've got a smattering of things. We're just filling in, but this happens to be a nice big open space. So anyway, that is going to do it for today's video. We really wanted to start focusing on getting some larger shrubs in here because we've really been going for it with the trees, and I cannot wait to see what they look like even in 3 years or 5 years. I think we're going to have a really beautiful area out here. We do want to get our hands on some smaller statured evergreens, kind of like the Zafiro blue spruce that we planted up there on the other side that only grows like 8 by 6. So we need some things that have a smaller scale to them to kind of plant toward the front of flower beds so that not everything is so tall. We kind of want mixed in every at every level, if that makes sense. So tall stuff, we want some big, tall deciduous shade trees, but also some tall evergreens. Same when you're gonna kind of go down to the medium level, we want a mix of all of that. So it's just a really interesting area out here. And I love coming out here and just finding places for things. I know we have space for them. So whenever I get ready to come out here and plant, sometimes I have an idea of where I want to put it, but sometimes, like today, I didn't really know. I just kind of found spots that I think that things will thrive and do well, and then we'll just see how it goes. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you maybe got an idea or two of a couple of different things that might work in your landscape. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.